Whether you earn $50,000 a year or $5 million a year, not managing your money well can spiral you into a debt trap, coming out of which can become almost next to impossible. However, if you plan your income and expenses and set the right financial goals, you can cruise through your life without any financial burden. Managing your money effectively is a crucial skill that can greatly improve your financial well-being. Budgeting is the foundation of financial management, helping you allocate your income wisely and achieve your financial goals. In this video, we'll provide a step-by-step guide for beginners on how to create and stick to a budget, so you can take control of your finances and build a secure future. Why do we have to budget? Imagine a trillion-dollar tech corporation that wants to know its profitability to make its next year's action plan. This could involve deciding target sales for the company, dividends to go to its shareholders, or whether to take more financing from the bank. This company would never be able to take any of those decisions until and unless it has all its finances sorted. For this reason, every business on the planet creates its financial statements. These statements help the business chalk down how much it can spend on various expenditure heads and how much profit it can generate in the coming year. This overview of upcoming expenses and incomes is called a budget. Just like these trillion-dollar corporations need to plan their expenses and their future, you need to create your personal budget too. It helps you channel your money through various buckets and enables you to secure a better future for yourself. The three things we mentioned in the tech corporation example can be generalized into three heads of personal budgeting: needs, wants, and savings or debt. First, when a tech company decides on its targeted sales number for the upcoming year, it thinks of how much revenue it needs to generate to meet the expected expenses and stay afloat. Think of this as you choosing between two job offers, one requiring you to work conveniently from home and the other requiring a lot of travel. Analyzing the after-tax salary of each against your basic living expenses, you will never choose the job that won't meet even your basic expenses or needs such as rent, groceries, and utilities. Second, when a tech company thinks of paying a dividend to its shareholders, it thinks of how much money it has to spare after all its future investments and day-to-day running expenses are taken care of. Just like when you plan on taking a trip to the Bahamas, you think of how much money you have to spare after all your necessities are met. Such expenses fall in the wants bucket. Third, when a tech company thinks of taking more financing from the bank, it weighs the revenue this new funding can generate. It might be earning enough to stay afloat, but it wants to ride the growth phase in the industry and maximize its profits. Similarly, when you think of savings, investing, or taking a new car loan, you factor in whether you can afford more debt, which investments earn you enough to pay off your debts, or how much you need to save for your retirement fund. This falls in the savings or debt category of personal budgeting. While figuring out how much to have in each bucket can become very daunting for a trillion-dollar corporation, it can get a lot easier for you if you use one of the simplest budgeting strategies out there, the 50-30-20 rule. So what is the 50-30-20 rule? Putting yourself in the shoes of a business allows you to think of your finances much more seriously. It helps you keep track of all your inflows and outflows and also motivates you to set realistic financial goals and work towards them. While a trillion-dollar company's finances might involve preparing the income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow statement, your personal finances can be handled in a much less technical manner and with very little You need three things to manage your personal finances: the big picture view, a systematic budgeting approach, and a goal-oriented decision-making process. And the 50-30-20 rule helps you do just that step by step. First and foremost, the 50-30-20 rule only considers your after-tax income, therefore what you owe to the government in taxes should be subtracted up front before even starting your personal budgeting. Second, 50% of your after-tax income goes to the needs bucket. Needs comprise your regular living expenses, things you can't live without such as rent or house mortgage payments, food, utilities, and minimum debt payments. Even though rent and food fall into the needs category, they don't imply living in a fancy condo in an expensive neighborhood or dining out in expensive restaurants. They mean a basic level of sustenance without which you can't survive. However, it also doesn't mean you have to live out of a cardboard box and eat canned beans at every meal. Finally, your minimum debt payments fall into the needs category because defaulting on a student loan, home loan, or car loan payments can drastically affect your credit score. It can also lead to the forfeiture of all your assets, making your survival next to impossible. However, the wants bucket this doesn't consider the loan payments of the home theater system, because you can survive without one knowing exactly what you need, and trying to fit your needs within 50% of your after-tax income is an excellent way of living within your means and not overspending on unnecessary things. Third, 30% of your after-tax income goes into the wants bucket. Wants are those expenses that you don't need for survival, but they help you unwind or catch a break every once in a while, such as expenditure on dining out, vacations, entertainment, hobbies, etc. Putting a lower portion of your income in this bucket makes sense because you can't keep splurging on things you don't need for survival all the time. Also, if you splurge more on such expenses, you will have little left for your needs and savings. You need to find the right balance between your needs and wants. Expenses: a new smartphone is a need if bought within your budget and after all your survival expenses are met. However, buying a new smartphone way out of your budget just because you want a new toy to play with is a want. Keeping track of your wants allows you to save more for your future. Therefore, a 30% allocation of your after-tax income for your wants is quite a substantial amount. It gives you the right balance between spending on wants and saving for the future. With a limit set for your wants, you are compelled to pay attention to unnecessary expenditures, such as unused subscriptions or flying to a nearby destination when it's cheaper to travel by road. But without a limit, your wants expenditure can soar rapidly without you realizing when all your hard-earned money has vanished. Fourth, 20% of your after-tax income goes to the savings, investment, or debt bucket. Savings, investments, and debt repayment are an essential component of anyone's life. You might need money for emergencies, retirements, upcoming kids', college education, existing debt payments, and so on. Therefore, keeping aside a set amount of money every year for the future is extremely necessary. Your emergency fund should have enough for 6 to 12 months of living expenses to prepare you for an unexpected job loss or a bad business year. Also, if you have a substantial expense coming up in a few years, such as a kid's college expense, calculate how much you will need and periodically set aside a proportionate amount that will grow up to meet the requirement. Next, you also need to think of your retirement and set aside some portion of your after-tax income for that. Finally, you need to pay off your credit card or other debt payments that you have not considered in the needs bucket to stay debt-free. If you have any money left after all your savings requirements and debt payments are taken care of, then only you should take on more debt for other wants expenditures. Therefore, the 20% limit is not to dissuade you from saving more, but to prevent you from taking up additional loans for unnecessary expenses. In case you plan on saving more or paying off some of your debts quickly, you might reapportion some of your wants budget to the savings budget, but don't misuse it for taking on more debt. Now you know what the 50-30-20 rule is. But why are so many people still struggling with their finances? The biggest reason is that they don't allocate their after-tax income to the right buckets. Till the time you don't write down all your expenses, you can easily get swayed and go astray. The difference between a need and a want can very easily get blurred. So having a clear-cut strategy is a safe way to live within your means. Now, even if you don't possess the technical knowledge to prepare financial statements, you can start budgeting your income and expenses from today and improve your financial health. If you want to know how much money you need to save for every age group, just watch this video.